They laughed when she walked onto the range. Quiet, small-framed, face hidden beneath a black hood. To them, she was just a civilian brought in for a routine test. "A PR stunt," one of the recruits whispered. The laughter only grew when they saw the tattoo on her wrist. A single coiled serpent wrapped around a pair of wings. No one recognized it. No one except one man, the SEAL commander watching from the tower. But even he didn't believe what he thought he saw. Not yet. Before I tell you what happened next, tell me in the comments where you're re-watching from. I love knowing who is listening. They handed her the rifle, a standard-issue MK-13 sniper platform, heavy and cold. She held it with the ease of someone who'd done this before, but the recruits didn't notice. They were too busy whispering, too entertained by the idea of a hooded rookie among them. "Think she even knows which end to point?" someone muttered. The others laughed. She didn't respond, didn't even look at them. Instead, she lay flat on the ground, aligning her scope with the farthest target, 200 yards away. The air was still, the kind of silence that could split nerves. Her breathing slowed, heart steady. Then a single shot cracked through the quiet. The round hit dead center, the smallest hole possible, cutting clean through the bullseye. The laughter stopped. Another shot, another bullseye. By the fifth, the range fell completely silent. The commander stood, eyes narrowing. That mark on her wrist. He'd seen it before, years ago, in a classified file he wasn't supposed to read. Project Hydra. When she stood up and pulled off the hood, the world around her froze. It wasn't just her skill, it was her face. She was Ava Mercer, a name whispered across operations, erased from records, rumored to be dead. A sniper who had once saved an entire SEAL unit from an ambush in the Korengal Valley, only to vanish the next day without a trace. The commander, Captain Elias Ward, felt his throat tighten. He'd been there that night. He'd seen the shot that saved his life. But back then, she'd been half his size and twice as brave. A CIA contractor who disappeared before they could thank her. Now she stood in front of him again, calm, steady, the serpent tattoo glinting in the sunlight. The recruits didn't understand the silence that followed. They just watched as the commander descended the tower and walked toward her. "Ava Mercer," he said quietly, his voice carrying across the range. "We thought you were dead." She smiled faintly. "I was. For a while." The recruits shifted uneasily, exchanging glances. The tension was thick, almost reverent. Elias looked at her rifle. "Still shooting like the ghosts trained you." "Ghosts don't train you," she replied softly. "They stay with you." For a moment, the two of them stood in the dust and heat, surrounded by men who had no idea the kind of history that hung between them. The tattoo, once mocked, now seemed to glow, the insignia of a covert team long erased from military memory. Elias finally broke the silence. "You could have come back. You could have been honored." Ava shook her head. "Honor doesn't belong to ghosts. It belongs to the ones who make it home." He studied her, the lines of exhaustion, the calm behind her eyes. "So why now? Why come back?" She hesitated. "Because there's another mission, one only I can finish." A murmur spread through the recruits. Elias stepped closer, voice low. "If you're asking for my help—" "I'm not," she interrupted gently. "I'm asking for your trust." And for a man who had seen soldiers break under far less, Elias felt something shift inside him. Respect. The kind that comes from knowing someone who's walked through fire and never looked back. He turned to his men. "You mocked her tattoo," he said firmly. "You mocked what it stands for. That serpent you laughed at. It's the insignia of Hydra unit. Operators who did what no one else could. You're standing in the presence of one of them." The silence that followed was different now. Not ridicule. Reverence. Ava's expression softened. She adjusted the sling on her rifle and began to walk toward the exit. But just before she stepped off the range, Elias called out, "Ava, what happened to the rest of Hydra?" She paused, looking back over her shoulder. "They never left," she said quietly. "They're in every shot I take." And then she was gone. The recruits didn't laugh again. Some saluted. Others just stood there, unsure how to feel. Shame, awe, respect. Because sometimes legends don't die. They just change their names and keep doing the work no one else can. Because courage doesn't need witnesses. It only needs purpose. And that day, on a dusty range filled with silence and memory, a forgotten ghost reminded them all what true honor looks like. If this story inspired you, share it with someone who still believes that strength doesn't need permission to be seen. And don't forget to subscribe to Whispered Words for more stories of hidden heroes, quiet courage, and the truth behind the legends.